Deep beneath the sands of Egypt lies a secret that defies time, older than the pyramids, more elusive than the tombs of kings. A lost city of stone, a riddle that has whispered through the corridors of history and refused to die. The ancients called it the Labyrinth, a structure so immense, so impossible, that even those who laid eyes on it could scarcely believe it was real. A monument not just to architecture, but to memory, to mystery, to something humanity may no longer be allowed to know. 450 years before Christ, a man named Herodotus journeyed to Egypt. He was not a prophet, not a mystic, but a historian, the kind who sought truth buried in sand and scrolls. And what he witnessed left him breathless. He wrote of 12 vast courts, 3,000 chambers, half above ground, half below. He spoke of ceilings carved from a single slab of stone, of walls covered in sacred glyphs and forgotten gods. He walked the halls, and what he saw, he said, surpassed even the pyramids. He was not alone. Strabo, Pliny, Diodorus Siculus, the two spoke of this place. A labyrinth, not in legend, but in lived memory. A structure so vast it could swallow cathedrals whole. And yet today it cannot be found. Ancient maps point to a region once known as Crocodilopolis, the city of crocodiles. Modern maps call it Fayum, a quiet land west of the Nile, near a lake called Moeris, and beside a pyramid raised by Pharaoh Amenemhat III. There, under the desert's breath, the trail begins again. In 1843, a German explorer named Karl Lepsius arrived in the region. He unearthed ruins, fragments, traces of something once immense. But it wasn't until 1888 that a name would reawaken a myth. Flinders Petrie, the father of scientific archaeology, dug deep into the sands near Hira. He found columns, stone blocks, remnants of vast walls, but no roof, no passages, no chambers. The structure had been removed, dismantled perhaps, stolen by time, or something more deliberate. Petrie believed the labyrinth had been dismantled, its stones scavenged to build new towns nearby. A practical theory, but not the only one. Because what if it wasn't destroyed? What if it was concealed? What if it wasn't meant to be found? Then came 2008. A group of researchers launched what would be called the Mataha Expedition, armed with permission from the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities. They brought something new to the desert. Ground-penetrating radar. They scanned the land beneath Hira, looking not for gold, but for geometry. What they found stunned them. Massive structures, rectangular anomalies, corridors, walls, a grid buried just below the surface. It was there. It had always been there. But as quickly as the data emerged, it vanished. The findings were never formally published. Access to the site was restricted, and the scans, though real, were buried in silence. What happened? Some whisper of academic suppression. Others speak of government interests. Some even claim religious pressure, a fear that the labyrinth holds secrets too disruptive, too dangerous to be revealed. Because the question now was not where the labyrinth was. It was, what was it? Some believe it was a tomb, a preparation hall for Amenemhat III to cross into the afterlife. A sacred space carved with incantations, rituals. We have the records. We have the ruins. We have the scans. But we do not have the truth. Because what lies beneath Hira may not just be stone, but silence. A silence held in place by centuries of fear or reverence. Maybe the labyrinth is waiting, not for explorers, but for the right question. And maybe the ancients did not bury it to keep us out, but to protect what it holds. Because some doors aren't meant to be opened. Not yet. This was timeless forge, where the buried speaks, and the forgotten is never truly lost.